y'all, and welcome to the Healthy by Heather Brown podcast, where I encourage you in healthy mind, body, and spirit through my Sunday reset. Let's get into it. Hey, girl gang. Oh my gosh. Today is going to be such a treat because we have Jessie Mershon on the show with us today. She is a homeschooling mom of 4, and she has been in the health and fitness industry for about 10 years. So pretty close to me. We also were laughing pre-roll because we realized we were the exact same age. We're both 39. So she loves to educate women on how to have a framework to feel strong. And she also runs the Get Strong podcast. She's a mama, a believer, and I just really have fallen in love with just seeing her bright smile. You can tell she just loves the Lord. And you may recognize her from her old podcast, which is Bold Faith Moves. I actually think I had some friends that were on her show. So with all that said, Jessie, I can't wait to chat with you today. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so excited too. And it was so fun just like catching up and seeing that we have so much in common, which is awesome.
We totally do. So fun. Well, Jessie, a lot of times people that find me online, they found me through Fast Way to Fat Loss. And y'all, if you're new to the show and you don't know this, I have a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old. And my 6-year-old little boy is the one that after I had him, I started doing Fast Way to Fat Loss to help me lose my baby weight, to get back in shape. I taught Pure Barre, which is a ballet bar based exercise, for about 10 years leading up to that, and was like devastated when you had to walk away for the few weeks after you had babies. All that to say, now I do a mixture of Pure Barre, Burn Boot Camp, and then I also go to a naturopath and chiropractor, Dr. John Palmer, who has been on the show and helps me with fasting and stuff. But a lot of times when y'all ask me like, where do I get started? I'm so overwhelmed. I don't know what to do. I really do go back to some of those basics from Fast Way to Fat Loss. So Jessie, tell everybody a little bit about your journey with Fast Way to Fat Loss, what led you into the health and wellness industry, and just like, how are you balancing it all as a mom of 4?
All right. So first off, I just want you guys to know as listeners that if you are starting something new, to remember your starting point is going to be a starting point. Do not look at girls on social media and compare yourself to their 8 years or 10 years in, because it is so easy to do that and forget that every single person has a starting point. I recently actually found a video of me from like 11 years ago. It was hilarious because I was so puffy. I was like so uncomfortable even talking on camera. Like I was just really struggling with limiting beliefs and self-doubt. But I started and I made that video and I put up that video, and to see how far I've come 11 years later is so cool to see. And you are able to do that in your own life, no matter where you're at right now. Always remember that you have a starting point, and your starting point is the thing that in 10 years could change your entire life. So when I got started, I honestly was in a really broken spot of my life. I was feeling unworthy. I compared myself to every other girl always. I constantly thought I wasn't pretty enough. I wasn't good enough. I wasn't smart enough. I had every limiting belief that you could possibly have. But I think my biggest one was really always feeling like I just wasn't worthy. And a lot of it came back to how I looked personally, just feeling like every girl always looked so much prettier than me and looked like they had their life together better. And this was even before, this is going back 11 years. So it wasn't even like social media was as big as it is now. But I started to do work on myself. I was drinking all the time. My relationship with God was really one that I had just carried over. I always had faith. I grew up with my parents bringing us to church, but I didn't have my own relationship with God. So I was constantly drinking to fit in. I was a single mom. And when I had my first daughter, I was an awesome mom that first year. And after that, I really basically had no friends because I was 21 years old when I had my first child. And in order to have friends, I had to like get together with them and go out and drink, right? So I was telling myself that if I got up with my daughter in the morning and was a mom that day, then that was good. But what I wasn't being honest with myself about is I was drinking so much that I was always hungover. I was throwing up all the time. I was blacking out all the time. And that also causes a lot of anxiety. It causes a lot of depression. It causes a lot of self-hatred. And it also really causes you to like look in the mirror and hate yourself. And on top of it, you're eating worse and you're not hydrated and your skin and hair represents that. And it was like a downward spiral for me. So when I got started, I had actually originally joined Beachbody. I was in it for 10 years and I absolutely loved it. I loved that I learned how to take care of myself. And when I go into my framework, that's what we'll really kind of talk about. I have the 3 M's is what I call it, a Get Strong framework to help you guys really just feel better every single day and stick to the 3 things that are going to move you forward. From there, I had joined Faster Way and got certified to coach. I did their hormone certification, their macro certification, and their coaching certification. And it was very eye-opening to me because I had been in fitness and health industry for 10 years. And I feel like they taught me so much, even through my postpartum journeys, that I didn't know. And I am feeling, it's like you learn something new and you're like, how did I not know this? So I nurse all of my babies and I nurse to a year or beyond, but we do no bottles. And so I get up for every feeding. I keep my kids with me that first year and they're never, longer than 3 hours. Then we go to like 4 or 5 as time goes on. But nursing is really important to me as a mom and it's my first priority. I always like to remind moms when you have babies, it's very easy to feel like this baby needs to fit into my schedule. But one of the best things anybody ever told me was, a baby needs to not fit into your schedule. You need to fit into your baby schedule. Like you're both learning and you're both walking into something new, but you don't know if a baby's hungry. Like, people will say, well, I'm feeding every 3 hours, whether you're bottle feeding or you're nursing feeding. And it's like, if your baby is crying and hungry because they woke up at 2 hours, we as adults get hungry sometimes. Even though we might be sticking to a meal plan, we get hungry sometimes, not on the exact dinner time. Sometimes it's a snack before. So just remembering that with babies. But my postpartum journeys has always been really starting to take care of myself. I had my daughter and then I had 3 kids. We also had a miscarriage in between. And this last time we were pregnant with twins and lost one of the babies during the pregnancy, thankfully Jessie, early on, but it was still a weird thing to walk through when you're pregnant and you find out you're losing one of them. So with that being said, I will say out of all of my pregnancies, this 4th baby, I found that if I was not careful, I was probably going to spiral into depression because I could feel the weight of everything. I don't think I really dealt with the fact that I lost one of the babies because it was early on until I had my daughter. I was at the hospital. My husband thought I was crazy, but I had the baby and all of a sudden the doctors started talking. They found something. My umbilical cord was attached wrong and they had not caught it during my whole pregnancy. And it could have caused a lot of issues for me and the baby, but it's probably why one of the twins didn't make it. So when they started talking about that at the hospital, all of a sudden it hit me that like we should be holding 2 babies right now and like what it would feel like. And would that baby be a boy or girl? Because we always wait to find out. So it was an emotional day when I had my daughter and I took on this pain that I didn't expect to feel. And I also found that if I wasn't careful, I could go down a downward spiral. I'm very aware of my mental health and how you show up in life really matters, no matter what stage of life you're in. But one of the best things I can say is taking care of yourself really matters at all stages and prioritizing, like get yourself ready and get in movement. And a couple of these things we'll go over. But with Faster Way, they teach you how to fast. They teach you how to enjoy food and not cut out foods. For instance, in my groups, I will get a donut with my kids and I will log it. And I don't have to feel guilt around it. I don't have to be like, I messed up today. This is horrible. Like I'm the worst person. I failed. I get to just say, here, I had a donut. My fats and my carbs are going to be higher, but now I can still hit my carbs for the rest of the day. I can still hit my protein intake. So they have an app that is amazing for logging and you carb cycle. So I did a bikini competition after I had my son, a year after I had him. So it's been at probably 5 or 6 years. He's going to be 7. So 6 years. And when I did the bikini competition, I did carb cycling and I stopped doing it ever since. And with Faster Way, I realized how much I love carb cycling. So your fats are higher on that day and your carbs are lower. And they do take into accountability when you're nursing. So my carbs are always set as a nursing mom. So everything is very much individual. Your macros are individual. And then Monday and Tuesday, you carb cycle, and the rest of the days are regular weeks. But it really just helps your body so much. It helps your hormones. It helps you feel amazing. And that paired with fasting has helped a ton. Again, as a nursing mom, I am only fasting for 12 hours. I do 12 hours overnight right now. And I do wake up in the middle of the night, but I have been okay doing the fast and I just hydrate during it. But obviously listen to your body, because being a mom should be your number one priority, and don't do anything that can mess with your milk if it starts to. I stay very hydrated and nutrition high. And so I make sure that I'm doing those things. But that with their strength training workouts really are an awesome thing for moms, because a lot of people can't get to a gym. And if you can't get to a gym, you need to ask yourself, what can I do? Because there's always something that you can do. And if you lean into what can I do instead of leaning into the excuses of what you can't do, you'll figure it out. And picking up weights is going to help you feel your strongest self.
I totally agree. And I think that was one of the biggest things that I got into with fast weighted fat loss that I hadn't necessarily done before. Was I had always done little tiny baby weights at Pure Barre. And I love that. And it's a different kind of movement. But I think that there's so much to be said for, you've just brought up a million questions. So why don't we go ahead and start in to your 3 M's? Because then I want to be able to ask you more questions for what we have time for at the end about macros and carb cycling and, all the details. But I do want to point out also that if you're listening to this, that I would highly encourage you to go back to the episode that we recorded with Lily's Eats and Tells about macros, number 1, and number 2, to go back to the episode with Dr. John Palmer. I'll link those in the show notes about fasting, because I know some people are going to listen to this and be like, wait, I don't know anything about either of those, and we don't have time for that today. So with all that said, tell us a little bit about your 3 M's and mindset. I think that's so huge.
So I have a framework, and it's just called the Get Strong 3 M's framework. And it's movement, mindset, and momentum. And those 3 things are 3 things that I think if you are carrying in your everyday life and sticking to, you will see huge changes over time. There is so much on social media right now about shots for weight loss, about cutting carbs completely, so many different diets at all times. There's so many different supplements out there that fitness and health can feel so overwhelming, because one person's telling you, take this collagen, it's the best ever. Another person's telling you, this is the best collagen. Now you need this supplement. I felt that this year, because it just feels like there is so many products sometimes, and everybody thinks theirs is the best, which is awesome. But do your research. Something that is so important is don't just watch someone on social media and just be like, oh, they said this is the best, but take your time and look it up and just see, is it really the best? So
not only that, but also I think it's so important to try it out in your body, because it may work great in that influencer or trainer's, body that you're watching, but it may not be a good fit for you. And also to remember that usually when you start some kind of new program or supplement or whatever, you typically do want to give it between 60 to 90 days to really let your body get it in your system and see how it's working as well. And one of the things that you said, Jessie, earlier that I kind of wanted to pull out, and I think it's so important, we talk about macros very briefly, but you said this earlier, and it was one of the things that just changed the game for me. When you hear macros, please don't get overwhelmed and think oh my gosh, now I got to start, tracking my proteins and my fats and my fiber and my carbs and all the things. Here at the Healthy by Heather Brown Show, we're on a mission to help women take back their health, mind, body, and spirit God's way. No woo-woo, new age fluff, or mainstream nonsense. In a world pushing quick fixes and burnout, we're choosing real wellness, intentional living, and faith-filled confidence. This show is for you, sister, and it's made possible by this incredible community. If you believe in this mission, here's how you can help. 1, pause and leave a 5-star review. It's free and makes a huge impact. Share with a bestie who needs this message. 3, support the mission financially. Every little bit helps. Links for PayPal and Venmo are in the show notes. Let's rise up and change the culture, showing the world what healthy, empowered, faith-filled women really look like. Jessie, you said it so beautifully. You said just start with proteins, aim for 30 grams of protein per meal. And if you're like, I don't even know what that means, the MyFitnessPal or the Fast Way to Fat Loss app makes it so simple. It just means you're trying to eat enough protein at each meal to satiate your body and have the energy to keep up with your kids. So I just want to get that side change in.
Yes, the word macros, you guys, for 10 years, even being in the fitness and health industry, I refused to count macros because I was like, even when I did my bikini competition, I'm like, I basically was counting macros, but my husband figured it all out and just told me what to eat. But I thought counting macros was like the scariest thing in the world. So if that's you right now, that and fasting, both of those were things that I never did. But find an app like that works. And obviously I'm using the Faster Way app, but FitnessPal is a good one. I've had clients that were using that as well, but find something that has your macros logged for you and can figure it out if you want to go that route. But I really believe that you can do a lot of work before going down that. Like I've seen awesome results over 10 years without counting macros. And now I'm just at a point in my life where I want to learn even more. I'm also 39 years old. So things are changing in my body and I felt like I needed to dial things in differently. So that's kind of why I stepped into that.
I so agree. But back to your 3 M's.
Okay. So the first one's mindset. And this is going back to what I talked about. If you don't feel worthy, you don't feel like you are enough, and you are constantly comparing yourself to everybody else, you are not going to be able to achieve the life that you want to achieve, whether it's in your own personal body, your marriage, the way you're parenting, the goals you have with your life in general. And I was there. I was in a really dark spot of feeling like I was not enough and hating myself. And what I found is the thoughts in your head are the thing that are holding you back more than anything else. You might have had people tell you something from elementary school. Someone made a comment that you were fat or you were ugly or you were whatever. And you don't even realize that is one of your limiting beliefs that's sticking with you like 20 or 30 years later. So really starting to figure out, like, take time and write down what are the things that you are telling yourself every single day. Because we are the people that hold ourselves back. Like, you are holding yourself back into becoming who God made you to be because of the self-hatred or the self-doubt you have. And when you look in the mirror every single day and you're constantly telling yourself, you're ugly and you're this and you're that and you can't do things, it weighs on you. It affects every part of your life because you constantly feel like you're not good enough. So you don't go for the promotion. You don't feel good when you're dressed up. You don't feel better. You don't have less stress in your life because you're constantly being your worst critic. There's a book. I think I have it right here. If you follow Doc Amen on social media, he is a brain doctor. He does like brain scans, very interesting stuff. But he has a book, Raising Mentally Strong Kids. This book is really, really good. And he has a whole chapter in there about ants in your head, the automatic negative thoughts. His scenario that he gave, like if you walked in your kitchen and there was one ant on your counter, you would kill the ant and move on with your day. If you walked in your kitchen and your pantry was covered in ants, you would be so overwhelmed, right? You would be throwing away all your food, cleaning everything out. You might have to call someone in to do something, like your husband would be getting a call. Yeah. It would be a huge ordeal. It is the same with your mindset. When you have one negative thought, it's not a big deal. But when you have negative thoughts that you're doing nothing about, you are constantly building up those negative thoughts and making it your reality. They build off of each other and hold you back in everything that you're doing. So changing those thoughts in your head, and it's not going to happen overnight. I want to be honest with you. I think it's something you work on every single day. And something that I have found is, I know affirmations can be amazing and I do believe affirmations work. But when I say, I am so confident and I hated myself and didn't feel confident, it was like, no, Jessie, you're not. Like, that's fake. So for me, I instantly like shot it down. Like my brain would be like, nope, that's not you. And I would go back to my negative thoughts. But what I started doing, and instead of, if yours, let's say, had something to do with confidence and you write down, I don't feel confident, or I hate my body. If you wrote down, I don't feel confident, on the other side of the page, instead of just writing, I feel confident, you would write down, I love that I'm learning how to feel more confident. I love that I'm learning how to love my body. And same with if you were like, I'm so fat or I'm so ugly, you would write down, I love that I'm learning to love myself. What happened for me when I started doing that is instead of it feeling like it was a fake response, I started seeing that it was a process. I could learn how to love myself. I could learn how to feel better. I could start to take steps forward every single day. And it wasn't something that I was just saying I was. It was that I was learning. I was in this movement and walking forward in it. So it really helped me versus doing just affirmations. And it's something that I have to do every single day. So what I do is I have a running list, and I will have things that I find myself saying, write them down on the left side of the page. And then on the right side of the page, I write them into I am learning how to whatever. If you're someone who says, I can't meal prep, like maybe it's not just necessarily about your body, but maybe it's, I can't meal prep, or I can't stick to a meal plan. I love that I'm learning how to follow a meal plan. I love that I'm starting small to learn how to meal prep. And as you change that, you read it every day. And this is the part that is so important, is once you write these down, you're going to read the positive ones every day, not the negative ones, but every single morning as part of your morning routine, you read the few sentences. It will literally take you a minute, and you just go through them and you tell yourself that. And it sets the intention for the day on who you want to become, who you're working towards, and who you're striving to be. And it slowly starts to change your mindset because you're doing it every day. Now, if you write it down and you throw it in your drawer or in your nightstand and you never look at it again, it's going to do absolutely nothing. So I want to make sure that you do know you have to read it every single day. And slowly I started to believe the things on the paper because my actions matched it. So moving on to movement. Movement is something that is going to look different for every single one of us. Like she was mentioning, when you're doing bar, you're lifting with lighter weights, but man, oh man, it burns like heck, right? Like sure. There's so many things that just burn when you are doing bar. Well, at the same time, maybe you're someone at the gym that you're lifting super heavy, or you're doing cycling classes. Like movement is going to look so different. So my first thing is deciding what movement looks like for you. If you're someone who's not working out at all, it's doing something simple. I teach my clients this all the time. We focus on nutrition first. We add in workouts second. And we actually do mindset and nutrition first. Then we move over to workouts. But don't feel like you need to be 6 days at a gym in order to see results. If you are doing nothing right now, going for a walk is better than doing nothing. If you are doing nothing right now, pressing play on a workout inside your home twice a week is something. Get that locked in, and then you can move on to 3 days, then move on to 4 days. But what happens in a health and fitness journey is people feel like they have to go all in. So you commit and you're like, I got to follow the meal plan. I got to start meal prepping. I got to do 6 days of workouts. I got to do this. I got to do that. And before you know it, you're so overwhelmed. You can't stick to it because it's all new, and you quit. You have to focus on moving forward, which is going to bring me to my next one, keeping the momentum. So you have the mindset work that you do first. Then you have the movement, getting in movement. And I will be honest with you guys, eventually getting to strength training is key. A lot of times the body that we want to achieve is not the body from doing tons of cardio. It is not the body that is super skinny. It is a body that is toned and confident and strong. And I will tell you that in my worst moments, the best thing I ever did was leaned into God, started my own personal relationship with Him, but I also started picking up weights. And there is something to say about a girl who goes up from 5 pounds to 10 pounds to 15 pounds to 20 pounds. Like when you are going up in weight, you know that you were the person that did that. Like your habits, your routine, your consistency is the thing that built that. And no one can take it away from you. Like everyone in the world can judge you and say whatever they want, but no one can ever take away the strength. I truly believe that every single one of us has the strength within us to become an amazing, strong, and confident person and accomplish any dream that we have. I believe that God put that in every single one of us. But what happens is so often we are bearing it with the self-hatred we have and feeling like we're not enough and telling ourselves these negative thoughts that it gets buried so low that we forget, like, you have everything inside of you. You don't need to become someone else. Yeah, you might need new habits. You might need new routines. You might need to switch up the way you feel your body, but you have everything inside of you to go after and live this life that is amazing, that you feel so proud of yourself in, that changes your family's life. But you have to be the one who's willing to pull it out and keeping that momentum of understanding that it's progress, not perfection, right? We don't want to focus on perfection because no one will ever have a perfect body. You will always be able to find something that's wrong with your body, right? And you want to focus on progress because realistically, you can crush a 6-week journey and do every single workout and stick to the meal plan. But eventually you're going to enjoy a donut or you're going to go enjoy something, right? Like, I'm a mom. My kids love donuts. My kids would eat donuts every single day if they could. And so I'm not going to say no. I also love donuts. I'm not going to say no to having donuts with my kids. It's a memory that we make. Like last weekend, we went and got donuts. Have you ever been to a Duck Donut? It is. So. They're by the beaches, but they opened one here and they're amazing. And they put like all these horrible toppings. I don't even want to know what, like they have to be probably the worst donuts for you, but they're amazing. So everyone needs to try one if you ever can. They even put bacon on top on some of them.
Oh, wait. Yes.
Yeah, like
if I haven't had Ducks, I've had similar. Yes.
They cook them fresh. And so it like melts in your mouth. They're amazing. But we went and did that last weekend. So it was the first day of spring break and we have trips planned this summer. So we weren't going anywhere. So I like got my daughter up, my oldest, and my other kids and my daughter's friend and was like, let's go get these donuts. So no, I'm not going to say no because I'm on a health and fitness journey, right? I just enjoyed the donut. And that's what you want to be able to do. You want to be able to see the progress over perfection and know that you're walking through this and create habits of momentum of moving forward. Every single day, focusing on becoming 1% better. When you're focused on what can I do to become 1% better in my mindset, in my movement, and in my momentum, every single day, you can move forward and it could even take you less than 5 minutes. For mindset, it could be reading those clarity statements and changing those thoughts in your head. For movement, it could be going for a walk or pressing play on a 20-minute workout. It might be getting a gym pass. I've been training for High Rocks, and so I do faster way workouts inside my home and then I go out some of the days and train at a High Rocks gym. So it's doing what you need to do to feel good. If you are doing a workout program and you absolutely hate it, then try something different.
Yes.
Like you should not hate showing up. There's so many different ways to move your body. Figure it out. And I even saw they have something new that's like a drumming class.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet. Nuh-uh.
It's like a drumming workout class. I don't know. And I was like, I'm so confused on what it is. But there's a million things out there. So
That's
find
right.
something that you love and do that. And then always focusing on the momentum piece. You have to be the person that is moving yourself forward. And so remembering that momentum is moving yourself forward every single day. And when you do those 3 things every day, you can see huge changes in your life. Don't just jump to supplements. I feel like sometimes people want the quick fix, right? I'm going to just be honest.
Yeah,
people want the quick fix that, you see the girls sharing, I'm down 20 pounds from this shot. I'm down 20 pounds from this supplement. And you're like, oh, I'm going to just go take that. But the reality is for long-term health, you want to focus on your mindset, on movement, fueling your body properly, and then the momentum of moving yourself forward every single day because you don't want a quick fix. You want something that's sustainable for long-term success.
Yes. And we have a whole episode also that addresses the GLP-1s, all that linked in the show note with my naturopath. It is horribly detrimental. What it can do to you, the side effects are super scary. There's no long-term studies. We could go on and on and on about that. But one thing I do want to say, Jessie, as we wrap up, is that I am just so thankful that you shared these basics with everyone. And I think that it's such a sweet reminder that you can come back to the basics because they work, y'all. The only thing that I would add on that I feel like is something that everyone can do, even if you're like, I have a broken leg and I just had a baby, like you can start with water. You know what I mean? Like
yes.
Jessie and I both keep picking up our water bottles that are aluminum. I've got an elemental one with a straw. It looks like, do you have a Stanley?
Yes.
Okay, a Stanley with a straw. Get in your water, and not only get in your water, but you've got to get in high quality salt or sea salt, something to help you absorb all those minerals and not just pee all the water out. You want to be hydrated from a cellular level, especially if you're a breastfeeding mama, like we were talking about earlier. Yeah. But Jessie, tell everybody where they can find you online, where they can connect for more info.
And really fast, just going off that water, if you're someone who doesn't hit their water intake, something that I do every single morning is I do 24 ounces of warm water and I put some sea salt in it and I drink it before I eat anything. Getting that 24 ounces of water in helps me because then I feel ahead instead of always feeling like I'm trying to catch up with water and can't hit it. It's like I get that water in my body, I get that salt in my body, and then I move forward with the day. So you can find me at Jessie Mershon on Instagram. That is usually where I am. And I would love to help you if you guys are needing any support and help ever. I love helping you just change your mindset and really believe in yourself because no one that you are watching on social media is more capable than you are. But when you pull the strength from inside and you really become your strongest self, you're going to prove to yourself that you can do everything. And I feel like God has given every single one of us that. And it is so selfish to not pull it out. And the one last thing I wanted to say is Ed Milet said this one time, and I love him, but I also think that it's so true. He said when he gets up to heaven and God's up there and he looks God in the face, he doesn't want God to have this whole other version of who he could have been and know that he never walked into that version of himself because he was too nervous. He was too uncomfortable. He had too much self-doubt. He wants to get up to heaven and know that God gave him the power to do everything he wanted in life and that he went after it, trusting God. And I just think it's such a powerful reminder that it's inside you. You just got to be willing to pull it out and know that you are worthy of more.
Yes, absolutely. And y'all don't be afraid to pray and ask the Lord to help you do that because it's day by day showing up, getting 1% better every single day. And God wants that for you. Like he wants you to walk in who he created you to be so that you can live out the purpose that he has set on your life. So Jessie, what a joy to have you today. Thank you so very much. Hey, Roll Gang, and welcome back to the Marriage Corner. Eric, it's been a while.
It's been a little while. It's been a little crazy in our life, a little busy. And it's good to be back as always. So it's nice out, starting to get warm outside. And good to be back.
Tell everybody why you've been so busy. I feel like they'll find that interesting.
I mean, aren't we all? It's called life.
So true.
Work, more responsibilities, coaching soccer.
Assistant coaching another soccer team.
Coaching another soccer team, being on call more than I would like, a bunch of that stuff. Traveling, which is great, but also it's tiring at times as well. But I will say we do kind of have a fun new toy at our house that I think has helped a little bit to help relax and kind of balance things out. And maybe you can talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, for sure. So I thought today it would be really fun for Eric and I to be able to talk about 5 health benefits that we've noticed from our new sauna, which we absolutely love. It's from Sunlighten. I've shared a little bit on Instagram stories, but I feel like you don't get a full chance to really delve into practically how it looks like and how we feel like it's benefited us. But Eric, I thought anecdotally, you could kind of share a little bit about how it helped you out when you were having that high stress situation last week.
Yeah, for sure. The brand it's a Sunlighten sauna, and it's a 2-person sauna, and we got it maybe about 1 to 2 months ago. It's an infrared sauna, which is a little bit different than the traditional saunas that a lot of people are familiar with as far as using steam to kind of heat up. And the traditional sauna is more of an external heat, whereas an infrared sauna really kind of warms you up from the inside. It doesn't get quite as hot. The infrared doesn't get quite as hot as the traditional sauna, but to your question, just feeling kind of stressed out. And I've even told you over the past couple of weeks, I just feel like my blood pressure has been very high just because of a lot of those stressors. And a lot of times I can tell where it's just, you'll feel almost a little lightheaded, or you'll just feel, sometimes a little flushed. And being in cardiology, I know a lot of those symptoms, and I'm like, oh man, I know my blood pressure is high. And I appreciate you, because you've been very receptive and open and giving suggestions as well too, as to do things to help kind of calm down. And when I've needed, your just presence. And it's been nice to have you there to kind of bounce a lot of those ideas off of those thoughts that I have. But going back to the sauna, usually I'll go in for about 20 to 25 minutes. And I tell you, when I get out, I just tell you, Heather, it is so hard. I can literally feel my blood pressure drop while I'm in there, because all you can do is just sit in there and it's kind of just you and yourself, and it's almost like a meditative kind of state. And when you're there, and I would say about 10 to 15 minutes in at 160 degrees in the infrared sauna, that sweat just starts to drip off of you, and you're just sitting there and you're watching and feeling that sweat drip down your arms onto the ground. And it really is just kind of peaceful. And I get out and I just feel refocused, re-energized. I can tell my blood pressure has decreased. Also, too, working out at the gym and things of that nature, one of the things I've gotten back into recently is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which I forgot just what a full body workout that is. And if my muscles are sore, my back, my arms, with your forearms, Jiu-Jitsu, you're fighting for grips. And I can notice in my arms are really sore. And after I get out from the sauna, it's just my muscles are relaxed, and it's been great so far. So maybe you can tell a little bit about or comment on that as well, too.
Yeah, for sure. So first of all, Eric has already stained the sauna with his sweat. I mean, I am talking about like hundreds and hundreds of drips of sweat come off of you by the time you get out of there, me and him both. But one thing that Eric was talking about was your mental health. And I thought this was our number one fun fact about saunas. It says saunas may improve brain function and mental health. So the fun fact is that sauna sessions can boost mood and potentially lower your risk of dementia, which obviously Eric and I have shared about with you guys here on the podcast. And also Eric's dad came on and shared his story about Eric's mom and her passing and her struggle with dementia. So I found that very interesting. And then also there's a 2016 study that found that frequent sauna users had a 66% reduced risk of dementia and 65% reduced risk of Alzheimer's. So that's incredible. And then Eric, one thing that you mentioned was the heart. So if you want to share a little bit about this next fun fact, it's called saunas mimic moderate cardio for your heart. So maybe you can read that and then expand on it a little bit with your knowledge.
Yeah, so it says a single sauna session can increase your heart rate and sweat rate similar to a moderate workout, which I feel like I can attest to as well, too, just from experience. A study in complementary therapies and medicine showed heart rate increases to 120 to 150 beats per minute, mimicking low to moderate intensity exercise. So yeah, I do think there's definitely some cardiovascular benefits. I think from what I've read as well too, I haven't looked over this specific study that you just handed me, but yeah, I've got to believe there are some cardiovascular benefits.
Yeah, absolutely. And then when you were talking about how you work out, I feel like it really helps us also with I feel better after working out when I get in there. So we were reading that a 30-minute sauna session can reduce muscle soreness and improve endurance by increasing blood flow and reducing inflammation. So, babe, you kind of have like this one up on your opponents in jiu-jitsu getting that recovery. Just saying.
I need it.
Yeah. But he's great at it. His instructor keeps being like, Eric, with your long legs, once you know the technique in and out, you're going to be like unstoppable, basically.
I was taking people down left and right today. It was pretty awesome.
Heck yeah.
We also have joked as well, too, that maybe I could try out some of those jiu-jitsu moves on you sometimes.
Oh, yeah. He's like, can I choke you out? And I'm like, no.
No. Like a little triangle choke, maybe something like that. Little things like, it's just for practice.
Right. I don't know what any of this means, but it's fine. All I've learned is I got to tap out.
Yeah, just a little tap. I'm out.
I can't do anymore. Okay, so this Finnish research found that post-exercise sauna sessions increase your endurance up to 32% after only 3 weeks. Endurance increase. That's impressive.
The endurance is impressive as well, too. But also, too, I've read multiple studies, too, talking about hypertrophy of your muscles as well, too, to help increase your muscle mass. Sauna helps doing that. And you sent this out a while back to some of our friends, but it kind of breaks down the time increments of the benefits that you get in a sauna. Now, I'm not sure exactly what the temperature is, but it says after 5 to 10 minutes in a sauna, you start to sweat out toxins in your body. After 12 minutes, that's when your heart rate starts to increase. 15 minutes, increased white blood cell count, which that helps fight off infections in your body. Also at 15 minutes, growth hormone increases by 5 times.
Okay, remind us, everybody, what growth hormone's good for. Doesn't it help you with anti-aging benefits?
Well, to be fair, endocrine is not my specialty, so I can't speak completely to growth hormone, but obviously I think it helps with muscle mass and it can help with a number of different physiologic aspects of our body.
And with the white blood cells, they do tell you that if you're sick to get in the sauna because it literally helps mimic a fever, which then is your body's way of like helping you fight off infection. Am I saying that right?
Yep, that's correct. After 20 minutes, you really start to gain the cardiovascular benefits of being in the sauna, kind of like how you were talking about with endurance, increased vascular blood flow. 20 to 30 minutes, heat shock protein response, which I'm not entirely sure what that means. 30 minutes starts to reduce your blood sugar, and that's what you and I talk about, and that's why I talk to my patients. This past week, I had multiple patients ask me about recommendations as far as diet is concerned, and the number one thing I tell them is to avoid added sugars. Just with the increasing all those added sugars, all they do is increase inflammation. That's the number one thing I tell them. I tell them to keep it simple as well too. Just use whole foods. Try to avoid just any processed food, essentially. And then real quick, 30 minutes starts to improve insulin sensitivity along those same lines of reducing blood sugar. 30 plus minutes, that's when it starts to get a little bit tricky. And I know this depends on the temperature too, but your risk of dehydration starts to increase after 30 minutes. If you can stay in for 60 minutes, I think it's kind of a balancing act. Your growth hormone increases by 16 times as opposed to 5 times after 15 minutes.
That's insane.
Really, you shouldn't be in a sauna for longer than 60 minutes. You start to have mineral loss through sweating, sodium, magnesium, things of that nature. Then 60 plus minutes, your risk of heat shock increases. So don't need to be in there longer than 60 minutes.
And I will say that Eric and I bring a water bottle in there with me with electrolytes in it. Do you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I could not make it more than 15 minutes without a water bottle. And I typically do a pinch of salt before. I might put my Make Wellness Hydrated in there that I'm drinking during it. And then afterwards, I'm getting another pinch of salt. It's so important to stay well hydrated in the sauna. So I think I'm on fun fact number 4 is that regular sauna use may reduce the risk of dying from cardiovascular disease by up to 50%. So it says a 20-year study from the University of Eastern Finland found that men who used a sauna 4 to 7 times per week had a 50% lower risk of fatal heart disease compared to those who used it once a week. So I'm like, y'all, that is like serious. I mean, go sauna, go.
Yeah. So I guess all that to say, it's been great, especially in this busy time of our life. And yeah, it's helped out a ton. I look forward to getting in pretty much every other day.
Yeah. Okay. So my last fun fact about the sauna is that, and we already talked about this, but saunas support detox through sweat. So it can help you eliminate heavy metals and environmental toxins like BPA and, am I saying this right? Phthalates? Phthalates, thank you, through sweat. The study's research from the University of Alberta showed that sweat from sauna sessions contain higher levels of toxins compared to urine. So that's pretty wild. But we love our sauna, obviously. I'm actually really hoping to have on one of the founders of Sunlighten to come on and talk about all the benefits of it and like really tell you guys all the details. Because I know now these places are starting to pop up where you can just go to gyms and such and pop in a sauna. But if you have questions about any of that, feel free to DM me. I'll try to get you the best answers that I can. Don't forget to hydrate when you're doing it. It's so important. It helps you sleep great. That's another thing we've noticed. And then Eric mentioned detoxing your sugars as well. That's so important. You guys, I have a 30-day sugar challenge. And if you are interested in that, I'll link it in the show notes. It's free. And I'll walk you through how we got off of sugar and how it's always a constantly evolving journey, especially in our house with the kids. But anything else you want to close with, Eric?
Don't think so. Go out and buy a Sunlighten sauna.
That's right. Link in the show notes for a discount. Okay, y'all have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Okay, friend, that's a wrap on this week's episode. If you're not already following me on Instagram, make sure to screenshot this episode, share it to your stories, and tag @Healthy by Heather Brown so I can connect with you in my DMs. It truly brings me so much joy to see how these episodes impact you. Make sure to subscribe so we can see you back here next Tuesday for our weekly show. In case you don't know, your downloads, ratings, and reviews are the actual lifeblood of this podcast, and it helps spread the word to your friends and family. So please hit the download button on this episode and leave a 5-star rating if you super loved it. And if we're really BFFs, you'll spread the happy and text this podcast link to someone who needs to hear it today for some encouragement. Scroll down to the show notes on this episode to see any and all links mentioned, freebies to fuel your health goals, prayer-related episodes, and dun dun dun, the 7-day free trial of my exclusive membership where I personally coach and cheer you on in whole health. While you're there, make sure to check out my Amazon storefront with healthy snacks, my favorite look for less workout outfits, and books and devotionals that challenge me in my faith. If you ever need to find my Amazon storefront, just Google Healthy by Heather Brown Amazon and it will come up. Have a great day, girl gang.